What's up, everybody? Jack here, and today I'm going to be showing you my process for creating a new course and exactly why I am creating this new course. So first off, I've made a couple different courses over the years. I've taught on Skillshare and on Udemy, and now I teach on just Udemy, right? And you can see that I have 3 paid courses. This one, and this one. Of these courses, one has earned $70, one has earned $220, and one has earned over $19,000. So, obviously, this is the best course. But what I'm trying to better understand is what led that to happen. Why did the first course that I published on Udemy do so well compared to all the other courses that I've made? And what I understand is it boils down to 2 factors. One, I was making relevant content about this at the time. I was running a YouTube channel, I'd been talking about the course, I was putting out useful, informative content on a regular basis that was relevant. And this course was an answer to people. It was relevant to the YouTube videos that I was making. And I was able to just talk openly about everything on YouTube, give information for free, and then also have a more organized version of that information that's more effective and easier to access as a paid version of it. But ultimately, anybody could get the information for free from my YouTube channel, or they could learn about it through the YouTube channel and then go and purchase the course because they liked my teaching style in the YouTube videos. And now we're touching on to what I believe is the core of why this course did so well. I was making content about the subject matter on a regular basis. And these YouTube videos weren't just me talking about the course. They were me giving information that solved people's problems. And that is really important to understand, okay? So the second thing to understand that I believe is what led to this course doing well is there weren't that many other people talking about it on YouTube. Like, nowadays there's tons of dropshipping YouTubers, but 2 or 3 years ago, there weren't that many people. So I was able to become known as one of the people who share dropshipping information. I became well connected in that scene, honestly, rather coincidentally, because I was sharing information that other people were keeping to themselves. Whereas nowadays, all this information is available on YouTube really easily. You know, the scene has changed in that sense. And this is something that was missing, because I've known these 2 things for a while, and I tried to make more courses, but as you can see, I wasn't able to get anywhere near the amount of performance out of these other courses. I have a technical course showing exactly what you need to do to install the software and hold your hand to perform videos just like this one and to create live streams. I also have a course that's all about running and maintaining a YouTube channel and how to earn money from it, how to earn money doing from something that you're passionate about and you enjoy. Now, the problem with these courses is that, one, the industries are really competitive. There are tons of people creating YouTube content. Tons of people are able to do this, right? So, while it is true that I do have content making, teaching people how to make videos on YouTube, the reality is I'm not known for that. I'm known for 2 things. One is dropshipping, and the other is something I took for granted and didn't even realize I could make a course about. But before I explain what that is, I want you to understand these 2 concepts because they're relevant to you. You have to be in a position where you can create regular content that is relevant to the people interested in your course that will attract them to your course. That's really important. You can't just make a course. Even if it's amazing, you have to keep talking about it. You have to be able to keep talking about your course regularly. That means you need to be publishing 1 or 2 things per week that at least make it technically possible that somebody could watch that content or read that post and then learn that you have a course available. Because in the course world, the reality is a lot of these people, they don't just purchase your course immediately like we think they do. The reality is they think about it, and then over time they become more open-minded to it, and eventually they purchase it. So what you need to enable this natural progression from learning that you exist to purchasing something from you is regularity of content that is relevant to these people and solves a specific problem, right? So I tried doing that with YouTube, and originally, obviously, it worked with dropshipping because I used to make regular content about dropshipping. But I stopped making that content. I don't dropship anymore. So that doesn't work anymore. But there is something I still do every single day, and it is now the next course. And for the rest of this video, I will show you the process of setting this course up, because the reality is, this course is only going to take me like 2 weeks to create, and I'll be confident that it's effective and useful to people, and I'm going to be able to continue to do regular content on my YouTube channel about this course category. Can you guess what it is? It is living in Nicaragua. I have lived here for over a year now, and I've taken this for granted. I have all of this information about how the visas work, about how to get into the country, how to deal with the loneliness, how to meet people, all the tools you can use, how to access your money, all of this really valuable information that people want, and I don't have any way to monetize it. And what's fascinating is that on my YouTube channel, this is the other thing I'm known for. I'm known for Nicaragua content, for being a person who lives in Nicaragua, and for dropshipping. And a lot of people want me to make more Nicaragua videos, but I haven't been making any, right? And one of the reasons I haven't been making any is because I haven't monetized the Nicaragua content. And before, I was thinking about it the complete wrong way. I thought I had to make a tourist course for people who are interested in tourism. But there's one problem with that. I don't like tourism. I live here. I like living with local people and doing what they do and figuring out cheaper ways to have a really awesome, amazing life, right? I don't need to make tourism content. I can literally make a course that teaches you exactly how to move to Nicaragua and have a life there. That can be what it teaches. And what's interesting about this is that it's specific. It serves a demographic of people that I already cater to on my YouTube channel. And you know, this is so true that if you go to YouTube and you search for Nicaragua 2019, one of my videos actually shows up in the first page of the search results for a whole freaking country. And that is a really, really good indication. Because in my dropshipping career, I never showed up in a dropshipping generic search. Like if you search for dropshipping 2019 and you search for Jack Pitman, there's not a single video, right? Even if you search for just dropshipping and you search for it, I never actually ranked for this keyword, right? Whereas I am ranking for the keyword of searching for Nicaragua. This means that I have an amazing opportunity here, because this means a large portion of traffic is going to these YouTube videos. But at the moment, I'm just making the videos for the hell of them. It doesn't go anywhere. I don't talk about anything relevant to these people. I also get questions saying that I should do this. And this is the exact same vibe that this dropshipping course had before I started making it. People were asking me to make a course. People were saying I knew there was interest in it based on the demographic of my existing audience. And guess what? That is also the case with the Nicaragua videos. And the great thing is that it gives me a way to continue making content. For example, one of the videos I want to make for you guys is talking about how my experience has been living in Nicaragua, specifically going to doctors, because I recently went to a doctor for the first time. And I'm usually, well, mainly from the United States, and there's a lot of judgment about healthcare in these third world countries, right? But the reality is, I went to a doctor, told them the exact same crap that I told doctors in the United States, and I didn't get jerked around about depression. I didn't get tried to put it on any drugs. I didn't get referred to a psychologist or anything. I didn't get charged hundreds of dollars for a consultation. For $42 that covered 2 consultations, an ultrasound, urine tests, blood work, and the medicine, I was able to fix a problem that I struggled with for years in the United States. So not only was I wrong about my preconceptions about getting medical care in Nicaragua for certain things, I was completely wrong about it because I ended up getting my problem fixed and paying a fraction of the price that I would have paid in the United States. So I want to make a video about this, right? Completely. I would love to make a video about that. But again, I don't yet have any ways to monetize that video. So now what we're doing is going to fix that. We're going to make the outline for this course that I'm talking to you about that is going to enable me to monetize all of the Nicaragua content that I make. Because I live here. I can make videos about living here and what it's like and the things I go through for years. Easily, right? So, what we're going to do is how to move to Nicaragua to live. How to move to Nicaragua, and okay, right now I'm having issues thinking about what I should make my title, so therefore just title move forward. We're just trying to establish the outline. That's the goal, right? So, what are we trying to do? Financing, design, marketing, lifestyle, photography. I guess this would be a lifestyle course. Okay? And this is, I'm going to say I have lots of flexibility. This doesn't really matter. Udemy's just trying to figure out how they should suggest you things. Okay, so first off, there's all these other fields. We don't care about any of that. All that I'm trying to do is get the core of this course created, which is a section and the names of the lectures, which I'm then going to record later. Because the reality is, I have all this information. I know exactly what this course needs to be viable. Okay? So first off, it needs an introduction. Second off, it needs to talk about the 3 stages. Okay? The 3 stages of living in a new country. This is going to set up a framework for the rest of the course. Because I believe that whenever you immigrate to a new country, you go through 3 phases. Okay? Or 3 stages. These are introduction. This is typically done by visiting the country, knowing you would like to move there in the future, but you're not certain about how to do that yet. So you need to introduce yourself to the country. You need to visit there, you need to meet some people, you need to see some new things, and you need to plan on going back to your origin country. Okay? So this is literally just a visit. That's it. This is the introduction phase. Okay? And this is going to be necessary because you need to do this in order to make the connections that you'll need to find a place to rent, to live on a more long-term basis, etc., etc., etc. Okay? So, that's the introduction phase. The next phase is the loneliness phase. This is when you have moved into the country, you've acquired a house, a home, but you feel really lonely. You're struggling, maybe because of the language barrier or being new and not knowing other people. This is the hardest part of the phase, but luckily, it's something you face immediately, and it's just hard for a couple months if you play your cards right. The next thing you know, you'll have friends, you'll be able to meet people, and then you will move on into the third phase, which is inclusion. And the third phase is when you are living in the country, you've gotten used to things, you feel comfortable, and you are part of a community of individuals. You know people. Maybe you're not incredibly well connected, but you know multiple people. You feel comfortable going and accomplishing the basic needs of your day-to-day life. Okay? So this is really important that you understand these 3 phases, because if you don't, then you're going to have all these idealized romantic notions of moving into another country, but then you go and do it, and you face the loneliness, and you get freaking scared, and you run away. But ultimately, you got to power through that loneliness and make sure you're getting out there, you're meeting people, you're using applications, you're joining groups to find like-minded individuals. You got to apply these concepts to move and transition out of the loneliness stage and into stage 3. Because once you're in stage 3, you're basically a local. You're just a new local, so to speak. Like, I'm new here, right? I've only lived here for a year. but I know Managua better than a lot of people I know who also live in Managua, just because I have a lot of time and I visited a lot of different places and my friends have taken me places. It's amazing, right? So that's something that's going to be really important. Now let's identify the other sections that the course is going to need. So we're going to need a section about finances. Financial logistics, okay? So here we're going to learn about how to access your money in Nicaragua. How do you get money? How do you withdraw money? What do you do about bank accounts? Can you get a Nicaraguan bank account? How do you pay for things? How much dollars does Cords get? How are dollars used in this country? All questions related to financial aspects of moving into this country will be answered in this section, the financial logistics section, okay? So next, what other section are we going to need? We're going to need visa, okay? Visas and residency. This section is going to explain everything that you need to know in order to understand how to come to the country, what rules and limitations exist, what the different visas are, and how do you acquire these different visas, including what is relevant to you and what you're trying to do. If you're coming to Nicaragua to tour, then you don't need to worry about this, right? You can just use a tourist visa. But if you want to live here, you have to have some kind of system so that you can stay here legally, right? And that will all be explained. There's a lot of different ways that you can get residency in Nicaragua and ways that you can stay here long-term legally using tourist visas as long as you respect the laws, right? Technically, there's nothing stopping you from staying here for 90 days, leaving for 2 weeks, coming back for 90 days, leaving for 2 weeks, and repeating this indefinitely. You can do that. So literally, in my situation, that's what I do because it forces me to travel, and ultimately, I'm still saving money by living here compared to my cost of living in the United States, okay? So that brings up our next section, which is going to be cost of living in Nicaragua. This section is going to talk about a lot of things and give a lot of examples based on my life. I will share how much going to the grocery store costs. I will show footage of grocery stores and also of the markets, talk about how much you can spend and what you can get with that money. We'll also talk about rent and how to find a place to live, okay? That is going to be what this section covers. All of the necessary expenses for you to live in Nicaragua, like getting internet, paying your bills, how to find a place to live as a foreigner, whether you can get a car. All of these questions will be covered in the cost of living section. Okay? So now we have our introduction, we have our financial logistics, visas and residency, cost of living, and I'll also have a section about the 3 stages. The three stages. Okay? And that will just go further into detail to really make sure that people understand these concepts. Alright? So right off the bat, I can see that it doesn't make sense to start with going into the 3 stages of living in a new country. Because the reality is this isn't eye-catching information. This isn't stuff that's going to get attention. So what I'm going to do is change the order here. And I'm going to move the cost of living section to be section number 2. This is the most eye-catching, eye-candy, attention-driving section that is going to motivate people because they're going to see, holy crap, I can have a great place to live for $100 or $150 a month. I could rent a whole freaking house for $200. I can live in a villa with a pool for $300 or $400 a month. These kind of things will blow people's minds, and I need to share this information to get them energized, to get them interested, and to get them passionate. And I can also reference this eye-catching information in the promotional video and the introduction, which will be created later. But at this point, we have finished our basic outline. And I want to move forward. I want to maintain my momentum, make sure that I am working effectively. Because as I've seen with myself and with a lot of people, when we create courses, we'll often just stare at buttons and spend a lot of time filling out all this information, going one by one. But the reality is, there's an ideal point to do everything. And you can't do something perfect the first time. So what you need to do is create it, get it created, and improve, right? So now we've created the base outline for our course. We understand there's these 3 stages that I want to teach people about. I want to talk about the cost of living, financial logistics, which means accessing your money, visas, and then go more into detail about the things they will ultimately need to really understand, which is how to get through these 3 stages, how to meet people, whether you are retired or you are a young person. How do you meet other people so that you can get out of the lonely stage and transition into integration into the new society that you live in, okay? So, next we need to start getting some progress, right? And now that I've identified these sections, I need to identify concepts that I can make videos about. And the best way to do this is to identify questions. Okay, so cost of living in Nicaragua. Here is questions related to cost of living. How much is rent? And how do I find a place to rent? How much does food cost? What kind of places? What kind of places can I eat at? What restaurants are available? Because I personally buy a lot of my food and cook it, but I understand that most people don't live that way. Most people buy significant amounts of their meals, so this is relevant to cost of living, right? How much is rent? This. What is internet access? How much is internet access? Okay? So these are the basics. We now have a whole section. And look at that. All we did was identify a subject and then ask questions relevant to the subject. And now I make a video answering how much rent costs. I make a video answering how do I find a place to rent as a foreigner. Okay? So, and next, another thing is language. Where would I mention language? I think I'm going to make a new section. Language barrier. Language barrier. Okay? I'm going to make a new section here that's all about the language barrier, because that's another thing that people have to deal with, and it's kind of relevant to the 3 stages. Okay? So, but again, right now I'm just trying to get all of these filled out, so by the end of this video, you guys understand what it takes to create a course that chances are is going to do better, and how to create an outline for this course. Because if you do this and you understand the system that you need in place, then all you have to do is just make the videos answering your questions, right? So the next thing is financial logistics. Okay? What currencies does Nicaragua use? So no, that is a too specific question. We need to change that to be how are dollars? No, we're just gonna, this isn't gonna be a question. It's gonna be a title that answers all the questions. It's gonna be dollars and Cordobas. Okay? So this compares how dollars are used in Nicaragua and how Cordobas are used. It will talk about the exchange rate and how that works. Now we're going to talk about how to access your USA money. Next we're going to use, let's see, how to be safe with your money. I need to teach people how to make sure that they're not giving people incentive to rob them, how to travel safely, how to be smart, okay? Financial logistics, dollars, chords, taxes, paying income tax, how tax questions. Okay, that should be everything for that section. Next, we're going to move on to visas and residency. So first, we're going to talk about tourist visas. Next, we're going to talk about marriage, because that's the easiest way, absolutely. After that, we're going to talk about investment, residency through investments. And then we're going to talk about residency through retirement. Because Nicaragua has a law allowing people from the US to retire here and get residency that way. It's the easiest way to get residency because you literally have to be over 52 and have a pension, and that's it. Except if you work for the US government, then they don't want you. But if you worked for somebody who worked for the government, it's okay. So the reality is you have to have a very direct position. But there we go, moving on. So the language barrier, we're going to talk about common problems. Do you need to know Spanish? Do you need to know Spanish? Okay. And then we're going to talk about how to learn Spanish. How to learn Spanish effectively. And we're going to talk about the basics of Spanish communication for a foreigner. Because the reality is you don't need to be fluent, you just need to understand some different phrases, okay? Talked about the language barrier and then the 3 stages. So we have the first stage, which is the first stage, introduction. Then we have the second stage, loneliness. Next, we have the third stage, which is integration. Okay? And there we go. Look at that, guys. We have finished our outline. Now, we're just going to create a final section called the conclusion. And it's going to have a bonus lecture. There we go. So now we're done. And that's it, guys. I just wanted to show you exactly what it looks like to be in the workflow of creating courses that are relevant to content that you're creating in some way. If you guys would like to check out any of my courses, I have courses teaching people how to create content on YouTube, how to run YouTube channels, and also how to dropship. You can get links to all 3 of these courses in the description that will make each course $20. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Ciao!